27, 13, and 12.
All right, we have for the press conference, we can start with in-person media first. In-person media.
Just showing from NBA Online. June is an important month for sports in general, and we're coming up on the 50th anniversary of Title IX, which was an important legislation for civil rights. Can any one of you speak on your feelings on Title IX and how it has impacted sports in general?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's just really important for us as women, like, to level the playing field, and we deserve the same respect that our counterparts have. So it's nice to see that, we're starting to get some of that stuff, and it'll be great to celebrate the 50th anniversary.
Hey, Zeke, could you just speak to the resiliency of this team, from Washington to Connecticut and now here, having those closeout moments where it's pretty much you do what you got to do to get the job done?
Yeah, I think every team can speak to this, that the road trips are pretty tough. Like, we're playing almost every other day. It's very resemblant of the bubble season, but we're just adding travel now, and that's tough on our bodies, honestly. So I think you just got to lock into these moments, and you just got to have quick memory loss, because especially on the road, it's just tough. We're traveling, we're having a game every other day. And so it's just important to push through, and everything's not going to go our way. I think there was a good amount of calls tonight on both ends that were missed. And so you just got to push through that and, stay in the moment as much as possible.
I was wondering, you guys are clearly champs. Do you feel like everybody's just giving you their best shot, like just every night? There's clearly got to be a difference because they're looking at you, as they were saying, football. You're everybody's Super Bowl. So when you guys come to town, you're getting everybody's best shot. If you can just attest or say whether you agree with that or not.
I feel like we do get people's best shot. I don't know if it's because we're the champs. I can speak from personal experience that you do get a little motivated when you play the defending champs. Obviously this is a new year and everybody's kind of fighting for the same thing. Everybody's ultimate goal is to be the champs of this season. But in the WNBA, it doesn't matter where you are in the rankings. Every team is good and capable of beating every team. So, every single night is a battle. And we felt that early. It's hard to win in this league. Tonight, like a game like tonight, when we kind of stole one at the end, that's going to help us give a little cushion later in the season. And, it's huge. It's huge and it's hard. And, the Liberty came out and played a really good basketball game today. So I think, it's good for the league. What a battle. I'm sure it was fun to watch for sure.
This is for either one of you guys. Sorry. A few years ago, the critique of the Sky could have been that you guys needed to improve defensively. What has, in your opinion, been the impetus for this transformation where now you guys are such a great defensive team, and you were last year as well?
I think we just focus on it more. Defense isn't really a bunch of strategy. It's just heart. Like, you just got to want to stop your player and the other team. So it's not a bunch of like, well, we just care about it more. We focus on it more. Each player that steps on feels more of like, okay, I need to stop my man. I need to be helping my teammates. And we won last year because of our defense, not because of anything else. Like, we had offense, but defense wins championships. So we know what it takes to win games and championships now. And we just focus on it more every day.
Thank you.
Any more in-person media?
They're good.
Perfect. Perfect. On Zoom, we'll go to Annie and then James K.
Courtney, was that baseline inbounds play intended for you at the free, or can you kind of talk us through how that play worked out?
It was not. We were attempting to get Emma going to the rim. I think they kind of sniffed that out. She made the right play like she always does. And then they're in a scramble, and it just happened to get back to me for a wide open shot.
And then can you just describe how important a win like this and even the breakdown of that, or not breakdown, but them picking up on Emma and you guys still, making the play happen, how important that is in developing that muscle memory that you can rely on in other late game situations.
Yeah, well, that's something that we emphasize, not even just late game situations. You know, we're making the extra pass, we're making the right play. That's our identity as a team offensively. It may not always look like that, but that's what we're, you know, speaking on, and that's what we're kind of driving into everybody, is that we have enough, whoever's on the floor. So we're looking extra passes. We want to move the ball. We want to make the right play. And I think, you know, Emma's done that her entire career. And so I forgot the first part of the question.
No, you answered it fine.
Great.
Thanks.
James K.
Hey, y'all, thanks for your time. Emma, it feels like in the last couple of games especially, has just been a little bit more assertive on the offensive end. Has that been something that you all talked about, or like, if James, that's something that he's been wanting her to be more aggressive?
Yeah.
I don't think it's something like, we knew it was going to take some time and a little bit of a learning curve for her to get comfortable within our system, and finding her spots and where, you know, she can really impact the game. You know, she's somebody that lets the game come to her, and she kind of needed to sniff it out and see where she can really make a huge impact. And I think that she's finding that now. I think everybody that's ever watched Emma knows that this is Emma. And we just needed to find how she fit in with us. And we knew it was going to happen. And we just want to continue to grow on that and make sure, you know, everybody's kind of getting their spots. But it's really nice to see Emma, to see her get going and be herself.
Z, you continue to make such a huge impact off the bench. Has there been you were starting at the beginning of the season, late arrivals came in, and then you are now on the bench. Has there been a change in mindset at all, or is there anything that you've had to mentally prepare for differently in a different role?
Nope. I've said this before, like every time I'm on any team, I try to just bring the same energy no matter what the team asked me to do. I was at UConn and I was coming off the bench, and that was an adjustment for me because at Duke I was a starter and I played 30 minutes. But it's the same here, you know, like I just want to do whatever I can to help the team. And I think that no matter what you're doing, if you're coming off the bench, you're a starter, like you got to bring the same energy all the time. So I try to just be consistent, whatever the team asks me to do. And yeah.
Last question, we'll go to Mike Hughes.
Courtney, kind of to play off the last question, you know, everybody knows about Emma kind of just learning this system. Can you kind of speak on Rebecca Gardner and Dana Evans as well, as, you know, a lot of the league didn't know much about them going into this. You know, if you played overseas or you watch overseas basketball, then obviously you know a lot about Rebecca's game. Can you kind of just play on what you've seen from them so far this season, kind of taking that big leap?
Yeah, well, it's been great to see them, and I think this is just a great situation for both of them. The way we play complements both their games, especially, you know, Rebecca, this is being her first time in the league, but obviously she's a pro. She's been playing professional overseas for years, and she fits so well with our system, and it almost seems seamless, which is crazy. But, you know, her ability to impact the game on both ends of the floor is something that just fits so well with us. And, you know, Dana is really making huge strides in this league. She's going to be a really good point guard in this league. Obviously she's still learning, but, you know, they play both such an important role for us. Being able to kind of give us fresh legs going into the fourth quarter. I think that's huge. So, you know, that's something that we designed going into this season, was we wanted a really deep bench, and because we want to play long time. We want to play until this season, I guess September, but yeah, we want to play a long time.
And Azare, for you, you know, this season you kind of take more of a leadership role with that second unit. Can you kind of speak on the mentality with that and what that's like playing with so many young players?
Yeah, I think like I'm pretty outgoing in general, but sometimes it's hard for me to be vocal on the court. But I think this year I've sort of embraced it a little bit better. And I know the system really well. I've had a lot of good experiences here from the first year I was traded here. So it's more of just teaching, you know, everybody in the second group really. If they have questions, you know, I try to help Rebecca a lot, just to adjust, even Julie, Lee, you know, so that they feel comfortable on the court. And I think that's the sign of a good leader. You serve the people that you're around. And one way of serving is just to make sure that they know what they're doing. So I just try to do that every day. Get out of myself. It helps me not to be in my head about what I have going on, and just help them really in any way they can, just to feel comfortable and sort of adjust to just playing in this league.
All right, thanks, Z. Thanks, Luke.
Thank you.
Still muted on, okay, there we go. Awesome, can you please raise your hands for questions for Coach Wade? We'll start with in-person questions for Coach first.
So, Coach, congratulations, 2-1 on this road trip, undefeated in the Commissioner's Cup. I've asked everybody, I'm gonna ask you, speak to the resiliency of this team, being able in those closeout moments, doing what is necessary to get the W.
I mean, it's tough. Like I was saying before the game, it's not the same team that we played against, and they're a good team. They have great players, and for us to be able to get key stops when we needed them, it just shows, what we have in our locker room, and I just appreciate coaching them. And this was a tough one. I don't like being in these type of games because somebody has to lose, and you just, but feels good to win it, though. Feels good to win it.
Speak to the leadership on the bench, and then also defensively, how are you feeling with this team being this far into the season, a third of the way through?
I mean, it was tough. I think defensively, I think we're making strides. And it's hard to stop players in this league. And so for us to get key stops when they counted, and to get key rebounds, and I thought it was good on our part. And it's some stuff you always can do better, but for us to make the stops when it counted 2 nights in a row, it says a lot about our character as a ball club defensively.
Coach, Deshaun Jones from NBA Online. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
Before the game started, we had a chance to talk to the Liberty's head coach. And one thing she pointed out was your size. When the game started, it seemed like they shrunk your size by stretching you guys out and shooting the ball well. What adjustments did you make as a coach and tell your players to adjust to the way that we're shooting the ball so you guys can hang around?
I think the main thing is that we wanted to stay 5-on-5. But they got to a point where they were confident. And so once you see a couple go in, then the basket just gets big. They had players who uncharacteristically were making threes. And, normally those were supposed to be short closeouts, but then you have to close out long to everyone. And it just makes it, that's what stretches you out when the players that don't traditionally make threes start making them. And it makes you more of a reactive team. And I think that put us on our heels for a couple of quarters till we were able to get back in it and just really sit down on defense, buckle down. And, it's just a consistent effort from the group that was out there to make sure that they were in the stance and they weren't sinking us in too much, and we were able to get to their 3-point shooters a little bit faster.
Hey, Coach, Azar Johnson from NBA Online. It seemed like in the third quarter, Parker, Vanderstool, and Quigley weren't really playing. And then it seemed like, the Liberty were building the lead going into the fourth. And then, you guys, and you put them back in, and, the game ended the way it did. Was that the plan all along? It just seemed like you guys kept the calm even when the lead was, you're down by 6, which is not a lot. But you kept the calm and you had a game plan, and it seemed like it worked before.
I mean, the thing is that we have a lot of trust and confidence in our bench. And the one thing that the bench they do is they actually, give our starters enough time to rest and kind of so they can make that final push. I think that's really important when you have players on the other team that they probably don't have a long bench like we have. And so we're able to continue to push. And then by the time it gets to fourth quarter, in the third quarter, they're watching and seeing different points of attack, and they're, and so when they get in, they're ready and they're connected. And we're able to do things, I guess, from a rested standpoint as opposed to doing it from a fatigue standpoint. So I think it helped us out. I think we had legs in the fourth quarter. And, our bench is pretty much responsible for that.
Hey, Coach Owen Pence with Winsider. I have two for you. Firstly, obviously you'd rather win games by 30 points than by a possession, but it
Just want to win. Just want to win, man. Just want to win.
Just want to win.
Yeah, Vegas can't be choosy, bro.
I hear you.
Yeah.
What do you attribute this team's stellar crunch time play to?
Experience. I think winning a championship and going through like so many games where we're battle tested, it counts for a lot in everything you do, in the job market and games and entertainment experience, in medical field. Experience counts for a lot, and I think we take a lot from being battle tested, and it's not so nerve-wracking for us. I talked to some people out there and it was like my heart was jumping. We were so anxious, but I can tell you who wasn't. Our team wasn't. And, I know it's early in the season, but we've been in these type of games, even in the playoffs. Won some and we lost some, but we try to take each loss as a lesson. And so when we get in these type of moments, we're calm and we're connected and we're ready.
And then secondly, what do you see down the stretch to go with Z over Candace? What do you see down the stretch to go with Azare over Candace?
It's just length. And like we leaned on Candace a lot during this road trip. Leaned on her a little bit more in Washington than I wanted to. And so I just felt that, just that's why you have a player like Z that you can lean on when you feel like, okay, this is probably a better matchup, or Candace, we may want to save Candace's legs a little bit. So it was just that. And those things happen. I did it a lot with Sloop in years past, and I've done it with Allie where we had other players finishing games and she didn't. And you saw I did it the other night with Rebecca over Allie, and that's why we're a team, and they're all bought in. Nobody was happier than Candace, and so she was able to finish the last possession, and she was the one that made the assist. And that's what you talk about being ready. She made the assist to Sloop. And it's just important that we're all for each other, and we know, like, I'm not going to always get it right, but if I don't, they still have my back, and it's really cool to coach these players.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Moving to Zoom, we'll start with Annie.
Hey, James, I'm curious how much last year's experience in close games where there were certain games where things maybe got away from the team a little bit. And this year, these losses, and obviously today was a win, they're by such small margins. And I wonder how much, last year's experience is even carrying over into this year's team's heart in terms of never letting a game get too far out of reach.
It's just a process for us because I think of course, the experience always helps, and we never feel like we're out of a game. Like we've been fortunate enough to not be out of any game this year, and to make it a game. And so we know, we have confidence in each other that, hey, look, we can, if we buckle down and do what we're supposed to be doing, that we can get back in games and give ourselves an opportunity to win it. And so we've seen enough of that over the last 2 years that we've had pretty much this core together. And then it goes back to 2019 when we would win close games as well. But definitely need our entire crew because it's tough to win games. We were losing these close games last year when Candace and Allie and Steph were out. And once they came back, it just changed the dynamic of our team. And now we feel like this core can do the same thing. And when you have like your starting five that's back, plus you add Emma and Rebecca and Dana's growth and Ruthie's growth and Lee, I think it helps us out. And Julie, I think it helps us out a lot.
And then one more, you spoke to it a little bit in terms of the team not being anxious in late game moments, but how important is a win like this in terms of developing that muscle memory of how to get a win like this for other games down the road, late in the season?
I think it's always important because when you win games like this, you don't really feel great, and you know that. I mean, you feel good. I ain't gonna lie. Like I'm gonna drink a Kool-Aid tonight, but I feel good. But I mean, you feel like you have stuff to like improve on. And so those are the best kind of lessons when you don't have that sour taste of losing in your mouth. And but you're definitely not satisfied because you felt like you could have won by more. But it's so hard to win in this league, and this is a really good team, and they're coached really, really well. And so I'm not gonna, take it for granted at all.
Thanks, James.
Last two will go to James K and then Danny.
Hey, Coach, thanks for your time. I was wondering, has it been part of like an emphasis trying to get Emma to be a little bit more aggressive on the offensive end? You talked a little bit in the first couple games of the season, she was hesitating a little bit when she caught the ball from beyond the arc. And then now it just seems like it's second nature for her to catch and shoot and just be more aggressive. Has that been a point when you talked to her about previous games?
No, I mean, it was a point in the recruitment process. But Emma's such a visual person, and she wants to really fit in and find her spots, and that takes a while to find your spots of where you can be aggressive, when you can be aggressive, and film study, and your teammates getting to know you, and you getting to know them. And so because she's so intelligent and she has a high IQ, now it's probably easier for her 2 or 3 weeks in to know where she gets her spots or where she's going to get her shots. And it's just a lot of repetition. And now that I think that's what you see. She knows where she can get 14 shots, or like the other night, she knows where she can get 16 shots. And without taking anything away from our if you look at the globality of the game, you're going to see her, and it's like, okay, so she takes the usage rate looks the same because she's not taking bad shots, or she just wasn't taking the shots that she felt comfortable with because she didn't know the timing of it all. But now I think she feels comfortable, and now she's in a place where she's good.
Thanks, Coach.
Danny, did you have a question?
I was going to ask the same question. All good.
Cool.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Thanks, guys.